kind of thought, this thing writes itself, right? You know, you just kind of sit down and in here and feel so inspired. So this is a little piece that I wrote called Run to the Stacks, and I'm going to give it a rip for you. I'm going to give it a read. Run to the stacks. Is your roof fallen in and your world close on top? Literal roof, metaphorical world, you choose till you can't. Have you been lashed by tongue or by rain with acid, acrid words, the ones that wound from the lips of beloveds or strangers? Then my best advice is to run. Yes, run, don't walk, to the stacks, and find me where I sit, flank by flank and cheek by jowl, in parchment or newly minted paper, clad in shiny jacket or fingered woven cloth, rubbing shoulders alphabetically with my neighbors, whispering succor, sustenance, shelter. We are waiting, the dead and the living, for you, yes you, to take us down, to crack our spines with alacrity. As you do your knuckles when settling down to a desired task, touch me as you do a lover. Stroke me like a tender sprout in spring. Crack me like the first egg of wonder. Here we invite you to lay your burden down for free and open the book. To let the sunbeam coming in through the window ease the kink you might have formed there in your shoulder from shouldering too much. Yes, run to the stacks and snatch us from the racks. A book to the hungry is bread for the mind, fresh flesh to break and devour. With your eyes, and if you will, all corners of this great earthly orb, and all the paradoxes of time and space and tide are yours. If your world is pitching and heaving, grab both sides of me and hang on, as you would to the gunwales of a life raft in storm-tossed seas. If it gets dark, squint and lean in and hold me. What is closed to you will open. If you do not at first understand, do not be afraid. Just rest your hand on my living hide. Feel my slick and thin, my rough or textured pages, and let osmosis do its work. Lean in, catch my scent, tune your ear to the tiny creaks as my glue, the glue of ages, the sticky that holds it all together, slowly, slowly gives way to you, and my spine gives in tiny snaps like fallen twigs under your bare feet on a canopy of leaves in the forest. If your fingers are grubby, do not be ashamed. Other fingers have been here before. Let their prints too. But please don't mind that. Jealousy is the chiefest enemy of desire. First, take history to cope with the fact that humans are the worst. We humans ruin everything, except on those rare halcyon days, those odd scattershot bluebird occasions when we're the best. Next, take illustrated compendiums of biology to gape inside your own chest cavity, lift the bone lid of your skull, trace synapses firing, and finally to recognize yourself red of claw, red of fang, tooth, and claw, there amongst the other animals. Crack philosophy to find your link in the great chain of being, and if that's all too much, you can just run. Yes, run, don't walk. To the librarians, those calm and lethal women, fomenting continual rebellion in the stacks, each in her own decade. She may snip the chains, or she may hand you a key or a brick, or Rosetta Stone, a utility knife, in other words, a book. And if this happens, you will never forget, either her or the book, for you never forget your first librarian, nor your first nurse. The former liberating your body, the latter your mind, from the terrible gnashing singularity, the ravenous jagged teeth of now. If I tell you I might not be alive, might not be here at all, sending you these gentle little pulsing signals across the precious precarious live wire, the bush telephone of the mind, if it weren't for the stacks, in a bookmobile, in a tiny town, on a distant shore, nearly washed over now with sand and salt and time. Would you think I overstate? I don't. If I tell you salty, forgotten coast, single mom, only slightly more than a kid herself, and a world that punched her and me, literally, metaphorically, with impunity. Some days you can choose and some days you just can't. In the mouth until the bookmobile showed up. Would you believe in this spot of warmth, this golden light, the only door to whoosh open as we ran for our lives, literally, metaphorically? Would you run, not walk, to the stacks? Thank you.